Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us here for Wake Up Charlotte on the go after the show, whatever you want to call it. We're here talking about the situation up in Boone. You can see Richard Devane is joining us this morning. That is because starting at 5 o'clock this evening, it is going to be mandated that you have to wear masks indoors in the town of Boone. It's the first town in the greater Charlotte metropolitan area to adopt such a policy, but we know it's coming as the Delta variant continue to spread, and across the state, our numbers are really staggering, taking us back to what we were at the peak of the pandemic when the vaccine was not widely available. So let us know, do you think this is a smart idea? Do you think other towns need to follow suit? As we know, masks are being recommended by the CDC and by the governor, but nowhere else is there a mandate right now in our area besides the city of Boone. Let us know what you think. Weigh in. We'll read some of your comments here this morning.
So Richard, tell us what the latest is.
Yeah, like Ben said, basically today at 5 o'clock, when you're indoors, you're going to have to wear a mask. That's for anyone who's over 2 years of age and does not have a medical condition that would make them not able to wear a mask. That means that you have to wear a mask in public places, which this ordinance is now geared at. This mandate, I should say, is geared at. So if you're at a restaurant or something, people have questions about that, you can, of course, take off your mask to eat or drink. But if at a bar, but as far as like walking around inside in public spaces, as the ordinance says, you cannot do that without a mask. And they're being serious about this. They say that there will be police who the mayor has said that he will have officers talking to people about it, reminding them of this mandate. And he says he's going to give them about a month to the end of August to kind of figure it out on their own. But after that, you can be cited if you don't have on a mask in public places.
So Richard, this is just indoor, right? Not outdoor?
That's correct. It's just indoor. And the mayor says basically he's concerned about the spread of COVID. The numbers are increasing in the county as well as the town. So he wants to do everything he can, he said, to protect the people of his town. And sometimes steps like these have to be taken in order to ensure the safety. It's important to note that also Watauga Board of Education has said that they're going to mandate masks in schools, and App State is saying when classes start next week, students there will be required to wear masks also indoors. So that area is saying that they're stepping up, trying to somehow slow the spread of COVID-19. And from the looks of it, when things like this happen, more areas than not will probably say, let's consider joining this push.
No surprise here. I mean, I definitely could see it happening. I mean, in some businesses that you go to, especially private businesses, they still, make you, put on your mask. I did a story not too long ago in the NODA area, and right when I was walking in, a huge sign saying masks are required here. So it's something we definitely can see as cases are rising, the Delta variant being concerned. Sarah.
Yeah, Richard, I read too that businesses can request police officers to help with this. Have you spoken to any local businesses? Because unfortunately, we are seeing a lot of issues when people are asked to put on a face mask.
Yeah, I have not spoken to any businesses, but I did see that same thing that the mayor said police officers will help talk to people about that. If there is a business that wants to enforce that rule or is going along with the mandate as they should, and they're having issues, they can call the police, and the police, of course, will come and help them out. Again, not trying to be punitive, just trying to be educational and just trying to keep the public safe. I'm sure we're going to be speaking with people in the whole area in Watauga County and definitely in Boone today. We'll have a lot of comments. Social media as well, we'll be monitoring that, but I'm sure that people have a lot to say about this mandate. And if it comes to their area, I know a lot of folks will have something to say about that as well.
With all of these, go ahead, Ben.
I should say we are hearing from folks already here this morning. Sarah saying, great job, Boone. Karen, we need you to be more specific. Are we kidding as in you think this is ridiculous in a bad way, or are we kidding as in we should be doing this? Because it'd be taken either way, Karen. Terry's more specific, saying idiots. I'm not sure it's especially productive, but we appreciate it nonetheless, Terry. You don't have to patronize those businesses, as Lisa points out. Follow the science, Leanne pointing out as well. It should be pointed out as well. Richard said this, but Boone is a small town, but Boone is a college town. And so in the next week, when school starts back up at App State, you're going to have a massive influx of students coming in from all over the country into this small, tiny little college town. And that, I am sure, is part of the concern.
You also got a lot of tourists there too, is it? Along with that.
Yeah, we should note that, Richard, when you were talking about schools, obviously a lot of them have reversed their decision on masks in schools. And I don't know if our web team can post the link for you in the comments here, but we have a great resource on our website that goes through every county, every district. So you can look up what your child's school district is doing, which ones are having mask requirements, which ones are optional, and which ones are still undecided. And a lot of those that were optional are now going to masks. So we're going to keep that link updated for you. And our producer just said they're putting it in the comments. So definitely save that if you do have a child in school this year, because we will update that with any changes that do come down.
I'd be interested in knowing Terry Nolan Range. She commented liberal lockdown agenda, #control. A lot of people feel that way, but I'd be curious to know if there is a fair point where masks or vaccinations or lockdowns or what's the right balance. Do you think there should be no regulations and that this should be just allowed to spread? Because some people feel that way. Or do you think there should be social distancing? I feel like the big debate for a lot of people is the happy medium. What's the right amount of being cautious and safe while still not infringing on people's individual liberties and rights? And so I'd be interested if she wanted to chime back in and what other people think as well.
Richard, I don't know.
Definitely an unknown though, Ben, right? What is the happy medium? Could there be a happy medium right now with where we stand? Obviously, we're in a different situation where not too long ago, things were eased back, but then cases have drastically increased. So a lot of towns like Boone taking these, restrictions and taking these measures. So what could be the happy medium?
Richard, I don't know if you can answer this, but Karen's asked a couple of times on here, where did this even come from? Last second did they decide this, putting Boone in a state of emergency? Obviously, we are seeing a spike in COVID cases now that we haven't seen since the winter months. But why now?
Yeah, it's like you said, there's been a, I remember I was playing our photojournalist Ruben Wallace this morning, that it was just a few weeks ago I was talking about we had 2 consecutive days of cases in the state of North Carolina over 1,000, and that was a few short weeks ago. And now we're reporting 4,000. So that kind of points out the seriousness of the issue. As far as the happy median, I think those folks who don't want to wear masks or don't want to be vaccinated, they just want to live their lives and do what they do, and let those who do want to be vaccinated and do want to wear masks wear their mask, and they want to be able to interact as normal. But you get to that point of contact and being close to those folks who don't want to be vaccinated. Who don't want to be around people who aren't vaccinated and who aren't wearing masks. This is a tough one. Because I've heard it from both sides, and it's across the board. There are folks that I have spoken to, people who are not very happy about getting vaccinated. As we heard, there are even people in the health position, in the healthcare industry, who have concerns about getting vaccination. So this is a tough one for a lot of people, and it's important to note the mayor is he will not be running again. He's leaving for health reasons. He's been in office for a number of years and on the council before that. But he says he feels this is the move that they have to make to protect the people in Boone. I'm sure that a lot of public officials are weighing these thoughts out right now in their head and talking to their people about what is the appropriate steps to take. Because regardless of what you do, there are going to be people who are going to be upset, regardless of what you do.
Yeah, I was trying to find this Facebook post, Ben, that I showed you in the newscast, but a lot of you know I have family in Arkansas, and so one of my friends had posted on Facebook a breaking news text alert that they got from their TV station in Arkansas on how almost all the ICU beds are now full for the entire state. Obviously, we know Arkansas is one of the worst right now, but I think a lot of these decisions are coming. It's like we're going back to how we were in the winter. They're just trying to prevent our hospitals from being inundated again.
One thing I keep on going back to is we go to our doctors, for our yearly physicals or when we got coughs or something like that. And we sometimes take our doctor's advice. Sometimes we don't. Let's all be honest. We don't always follow our doctor's advice. But I don't feel like when our doctors give us advice we don't want to follow, I don't feel like we question their motives. Usually, I feel like we usually believe our doctors, our personal doctors, are coming from a good place and a informed place and an educated place. And I feel like almost every doctor I know right now errs on the side of caution and wants people to get vaccinated and wants people to wear masks. And I don't know why we are now questioning the motives of some of these same doctors and the doctor you go see every year, and them wanting you to stay healthy and make sure you get your flu shot every year. And why else we are questioning their motives? And that's not a new question. This is a question I continue to grapple with. I just don't get it. I know my doctor, he would tell me right now, Ben, yes, you're vaccinated, good, and yes, you should be wearing masks. And maybe I don't like some of that, but I don't think he has a political agenda. I just think he's speaking as a cautious doctor who cares for his patients.
So our producer chimed in saying she looked it up. Arkansas has 8 ICU beds, the entire state. How
Wow.
crazy is that?
It is. I mean, just last week, guys, remember a social that I had talking about Mayor Steve Benjamin declaring a state of emergency for Columbia, South Carolina, when it comes to public schools, private schools, and daycares. Now trying to push Henry McMaster, who, is not for this, to allow kids above the age of 2 to wear masks in those places. Also visitors and other people who visit those locations for the upcoming school year as the Delta variant becomes a widespread issue. I'm still waiting to hear more news and the latest on that, but it's just another place where changes are being made when it comes to masks, the policies, and for the people who, visit certain locations that a lot of people congregate in.
So we're having a lot of people say that masks don't work. And I believe with some of now, none of us are doctors here, but from some of the stories that we've done, they have shown, and Ben, chime in with me, please, that they help prevent more kids from being exposed. Like, for example, my kids are in daycare and they've had to wear masks all year. My son is 3, my daughter's 5. And they've had to wear masks. And some of the kids have now had COVID. They finally went back. The school was shut down the daycare was shut down for 2 weeks or a little over a week. But I think if they weren't wearing masks, and I think this is what Union Charter School said, which is why they're now going to require masks, I believe. They weren't requiring it. And because of that, more kids were exposed and then had to quarantine. And then obviously, I just did a story on how, yes, last year it wasn't really affecting our kids. And I asked this question, and that's why we did the story on it. And we spoke to some doctors because I felt last year my kids' daycare was open and it did pretty well. I think it shut down once. But now all of a sudden with kids going back to school, we've seen Union Charter, we've seen Thales Academy, and my kids' daycare shut down as well. And I think doctors are saying the Delta variant, it's much more contagious. And so now we are seeing it in kids more. And so a lot of parents on one side, they want it to be optional, but then other parents that do want the mask don't want their kids' school to shut down, because that's going to be a whole nother issue, especially for working parents. It's been such a disaster. I told you, Ben, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do, because now I just see it coming. I'm like, oh my goodness, are my kids' school going to shut down this year with this Delta variant? As a parent, it makes me so nervous. How do I juggle my job and be here at my job if my kid's school shuts down multiple times this year because of outbreaks?
Yeah, and I do want to point out, in case people are wondering, I'm surprised nobody has said it yet. We all have masks here in the building at WCNC Charlotte. When we sit at our individual desks, we have plastic barriers. You can probably see some of them behind me. When we get up and move around, we're expected to wear masks around the building. Just so you know that we do have them, and we do wear them when we're up and about around the TV station. A lot of you obviously weighing in, saying all sorts of stuff. Please keep it friendly, folks. We can disagree without being disagreeable, and we can keep it friendly as well. I think most people are trying to come at this in an earnest, honest way. So continue to weigh in. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. Continue to let us know what you think. Should masks be mandated in towns like it's happening today in Boone, 5 p.m.? Let us know, and of course, we'll have coverage all day on WCNC Charlotte. Have a great day, everybody.